Editor-at-large at Wired, Wired.com. It's my honor to introduce the panel. Let's start off by the man who puts tortured and genius, now that I think about it, in the phrase tortured genius. You know him as Sherlock Holmes, Johnny Lee Miller. All right, she's not only a surgeon, a sober companion, a great detective, she's also a native New Yorker. Give it up for Stuyvesant High School's own Lucy Liu. I was about to say that you know him as Moreland Holmes, but you don't yet. But you're about to know him as Moreland Holmes. Please welcome John Noble. And finally, the man who brought Sherlock from Baker Street to Brooklyn, executive producer Rob Doherty. All right, so first of all, how many of you watched the last episode of season 3? Yeah, you did too? Yeah, good. We ended it in a pretty dark place. And maybe we can start by just talking about where our characters are as we enter the 4th season. Rob, you want to start us off?
Sure. You're right, it was sort of a dark conclusion to season 3. But it's also an opportunity to crawl to a slightly brighter place. Sherlock relapsed. This is a big deal for him, of course, and for Joan, and the partnership and the relationship with the police. So as we come into season 4, we're really dealing with the very immediate aftermath of what happened. We're going to find out that Sherlock, in spite of the fact that he was compelled to grievously injure Oscar Rankin, there are consequences. He beat Oscar to the point that the district attorney may be pressing a complicated bit, of course, when Mr. Holmes arrives from London.
Yeah, and Johnny, maybe you can talk a little bit about the relapse in particular. Your character, I mean, is this I don't know if you can share this, but is this a one-time relapse, or do we have to worry now that this is going to be a continual issue?
One of the things I think that I'm proud of, really the way that Rob and the writers have handled that issue is, we like to keep it as real as possible. And I think whilst not wanting to make it the focus of the show, or not to keep going about too much, a problem like that doesn't really go away in someone's life. Drug addiction is something that can be handled and arrested and learned to live with. But the problem itself is never going to go away. It keeps it, it's a storyline you can always go back to, but Sherlock has to take things one day at a time.
Yeah. Yes, as do we all. Lucy.
I think the main thing is to definitely billboard the fact that their relationship is developed outside of the sober companion situation, and that at this point they're friends and they're partners, and to distinguish the fact that she's going to be there for him as a partner, but not as someone who's going to be working for him and helping him stay clean and sober. I think that helps develop their relationship in a much deeper manner, especially since they're living in the same place and they're going to be working as well. So I think that as the seasons have progressed, you get to know their relationship more and more, and I think as that deepens, it also creates a really nice connection for the audience, because we get to know them as we read the scripts that Rob sends us, and so does the audience. So that's a really nice thing to have. And I think earlier we talked about how there is human flaws, and specifically that Sherlock's kryptonite is something that is not going to destroy him, but it's something that's weakened him, and that's made him more porous, and therefore something that is more accessible for Watson.
the relatable aspects of that storyline, you know, is that you know, it's something that you have to get on and deal with. It's not like it's not a huge nemesis that is dealt with and then is done with.
Right, yeah. And the other big specter that's been hanging over a lot of Sherlock's life, the whole series, has been his father Morland, who we also now get to see. Rob, can you know, he has been such a shadowy figure, you know, referred to but never seen. What is it like to actually put a body and character to that specter?
It's a lot of fun. It was definitely intimidating going into it. I mean, I feel like, well, over the first 3 seasons, when we've had characters revisit the show for longer stays, they tend to have a basis in canon. We have something to work with. We have a starting point that we can apply to our take. Sherlock's father doesn't have that. You know, Conan Doyle didn't tend to talk much about Sherlock Holmes' parents. So it was intimidating, but getting back into the canon is always a good place to start. You know, once you start to think about who would, you know, who could have parented that Sherlock Holmes, you start to get a sense of who might have parented ours. But it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I think, and of course for us it's a lot of looking at what Johnny's done over the last 4 years, again, imagining who can, you know, who can sort of share a familial history with him. And obviously we hit a lottery with John. And what I love about watching both of them, I mean, I think like to be in the Holmes family, there's a certain percentage, maybe 2% magic. And John has that, you know, in every scene I see. It's been a fun dynamic to watch.
John, I might, you know, Rob mentioned like what kind of person would parent someone like Sherlock. How did you answer that question as you felt out the character of Morland?
Thank you. Look, the first thing I want to say is what an honour it is for me to share the stage with these astonishing people. So thank you for choosing me. And to say, what a gift, you know, to walk into such a rich and fertile storyline. It's been built up over 3 seasons, and the character they've given you has been built up over 3 seasons. And it's kind of exciting because people think they already know him or what to expect from him. And that's really very exciting. And, you know, and my approach to it, I don't have the problem with the canon because all of the eccentric men of that century, whether they be explorers or poets, or eccentrics, all came from wealthy families, all of them. They didn't have to work for a living. And it was very valuable that we did have those people, you know, even down to the Darwins and people like that who could afford to go away and not make a living. So that's kind of makes sense. That's where the Morlands are. And so this fellow sits above. He's very, very wealthy. He's very assured in his wealth and in the way he deals with the world. And he's produced this genius child. It's not so uncommon that the genius child is eccentric, you know? It really isn't. But he is a genius. But Morland is also extremely smart, and he has to deal with that. Plus this very smart woman here. It's sort of really exciting. It's been a joy, the explanation so far. Thank you for the question.